Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Sanje Joda Zoge Jodamla Janjo Bardo Dane Jabzoshi Dage Chinso Dive Sonange Jola Bengu Sange Jubarasho Sanje Joda Zoge Sonange Dola Bengu Sange Jubarasho Sanje Joda Zoge Jodamla Janjo Bardo Dane Jabzoshi Kibe Sonange Jola Bengu Sange Jubarasho. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, I may begin by inviting some questions, because in the end... okay, questions. Any questions? Yes.
How is emptiness a non-affirming negative phenomenon?
Okay, this is a good question. How is emptiness non-affirming negative? Okay, to be very direct. Emptiness... So first, the emptiness is a negative phenomenon. That we all agree that it is a negative phenomenon. And then let's say how we get emptiness. Emptiness we get only through the mind analyzing the ultimate. And what we think, which is affirmed. That is, many people think that when you say emptiness, it is emptiness of independent existence. So dependent origination is affirmed. Right? So these two are synonymous. It doesn't mean that these two are identical. These two are synonymous, meaning that these two mean the same. Emptiness means dependent origination. Dependent origin means emptiness. But these two are not identical. Isolated-wise, there's a difference. And on top of that, emptiness is found by the mind analyzing the ultimate, and dependent origination is mind, the object found by the mind analyzing the conventional. Right? So this is the difference. So dependent origination, you will never, say for example, look at the flower, and you will never find the dependent origination of the flower. Just the flower disappears, finished, that's it. So there are two things. The emptiness is non-affirming negative, because when that is found by the ultimate analysis, dependent origination is not affirmed to the mind analyzing the ultimate. It is only affirmed, or it's only realized by the mind analyzing the convention, because dependent origination is conventional truth. You getting it? Okay, so this is the next question. Yes.
A question about the cognitive obstruction. This question is study life, we have a question about.
Challenge question, right?
Yes. We have this question about.
The complicated question. Challenge complicated question.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What's the question?
It was what is the cognitive obstruction?
Okay, what is the cognitive obstruction? Okay. So I'm going to give a very direct question and you may ask me more questions, right? Cognitive obscuration is the subtle stain of the afflictive obscuration, subtle stains or the inactive seeds. Inactive seeds, say like for example, the garlic. Say somebody smashed a garlic in a mug, and say I don't take garlic. And then the person apologizes and removes the garlic, then washes it very clean. Now you see any garlic? No garlic at all. All sort of garlic is gone. Still smells garlic. Likewise, all these self-grasping ignorance, afflictive obscurations gone rid of. And still there's a smell left of the subtle smell left. This is the cognitive obscuration. Happy? Jen, okay? Okay, in fact, still the question is left. As to how. See, what is this subtle smell? This subtle smell is just an example. What is the real cognitive obscuration? This is a question. Okay, I think it would be good. Yes, we will do it here. Say, cognitive obscuration is the one which stops you from cognizing all phenomena simultaneously. In other words, cognitive obscuration is the one which stops you from achieving omniscience, which stops you from knowing all phenomena. So, what is that mental stain like which stops you from cognizing all phenomena? Okay, so just see if you can understand something now. Well, good. If not, still don't worry. Listen to it. Then later on, if you listen to the recordings once more, you'll find it. You will understand it. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of you listen to it over and over again. Then you will understand it. So at the moment, you may understand it. Then you go out, it may disappear. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, let's say that let's all go to Mount Kailash, and then you put on the blue glasses on, then you look at Mount Kailash. What will you see? Blue snow. You will see blue snow or blue snow mountain, right? Okay. How many of you would think that, oh, there's a blue snow? I never thought there's a blue snow. Now there's a blue snow. How many of you will think like this? No one. Martin is so innocent. Okay, so nobody will think like this, right? Nobody will think like this. Okay, instead, what will you think? Okay, blue snow. Okay. Say, when I look at this flower, I enjoy this. So this feeling of enjoyment is because of my mind interacting with the flower. My mind interacting with the flower. Flower is the object, my mind is the subject. So when my mind, say I enjoy this, looking at the flower, when my mind interacts with the flower. You agree with me? When my mind interacts with the flower. When my mind interacts with the flower, there are two things happening. Two actions happening. One is the action of appearance, act of appearing, and the act of engagement. Act of appearing means the object appears. Act of appearing is done by the object. Act of engagement is done by the subject. the object appears to me. Object appears to my mind. My mind engages with the object. You're getting it? We never say that my mind appears to the object. In French? No? In French language. Which means object appears to me. Perfect. Okay, so we say the act of appearing is done by the object or the subject? Act of the appearing. Object appears to me. The subject doesn't appear to the object, right? So act of appearing is done by the, or not done. Act of appearing is related to the object. Object appears to me. And act of engaging, act of apprehension, act of apprehending, act of engaging. My mind engages with the object. You're getting it? My mind engages. Subject engages with the object, and the object appears to the subject. You're getting it? 2. Now, when you look at the snow mountain with the blue glasses, what do you see? Hey, what do you see? Blue snow. So, the object appears as blue or white? Object appears as blue. And your mind, oh, there's a blue snow. Is this what you think? No, the snow is not blue. You getting it? There's mistake with appearance, but your mind, your mental cognition, from your side, you will not say, oh, this is blue. So, engagement-wise, you are not mistaken. Appearance-wise, there's a mistake. You're getting it? Okay. Now, the arahats. What do you mean by arahats? What do you mean by arahats? Ola? What do you mean by arahats?
They're absolutely...
No. What do you understand by arahats? Arahats in general. Anyone? Okay, 2 Nikos.
So because a being that has eliminated afflictive obscurations, that has reached nirvana.
Okay, the most precise answer would be the beings who have eliminated afflictions. The beings who have who has eliminated afflictions, or the beings who have eliminated self-grasping ignorance, or the beings who have achieved nirvana. Right? The beings who have achieved nirvana, the beings who have achieved, beings who have eliminated afflictions, the beings who have eliminated self-grasping ignorance. That is the arahat. Okay, now say the arahats, they get rid of the self-grasping ignorance. They get rid of self-grasping ignorance. Which means that now they never think that, oh, things exist objectively. Okay, when you look at this flower, how does this flower appear to you? As objectively real or like a dream? Objectively real. And do you think that it exists? And what is your thinking? Oh yes, it objectively exists. Right? Okay, so but arahats will never think like this. Even in the dream, they will never think like this. But although they know things so well, dream, waking state, they know that nothing exists truly. For them, how things appear is like we seeing the blue snow because of the blue glasses. When we see the blue snow, right? Do we ever think that, oh, there's a blue snow? Or you think that, no, this is never true? How do you think? It's never true. Likewise, the arhats, things appear as objectively real, but they don't engage as objectively real. There's mistake with appearance, no mistake with the engagement. You're getting it? Okay, so the arhats, they have the mistake with the object pertaining to the appearance. Act of appearing, there's a mistake. Objects continue to appear as objectively real. Only when they are into non-dual experience, only when they are into direct experience of emptiness, then there is no deception. There is no mistake with appearance. Whereas otherwise, in all other cases, there's a mistake. Whenever things appear, they appear as objectively real. Right? So therefore, they have the mistake with the act of appearance. But with the act of engagement, there's no mistake. Mistake with respect to objective existence. They never will think that things exist objectively real. But things continue to appear objectively. Which means that their mind is always except for the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Except for the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, their mind is mistaken with respect to the act of appearing objectively, objective existence. But their mind is never mistaken with respect to the act of engaging with the objective existence. Okay, so now arahats, why they don't engage with the objectively real? Because they've already get rid of the afflictive. They are free from the afflictive obscurations. But why they still have the act of appearing objective existence? Because they still have the cognitive obscurations. You getting it? Now from this we see that this mind, okay, how many of you, when you look at, say, how many like this lunch? Okay, how many like croissant? How many like cheesecake? Okay, so when we say I like, particularly when we say that, oh, I don't get cheesecake and croissant for the last 10 years. Now I'm so excited. I'm coming to France. I'm going to get it. So this excitement, when you see croissant and cheesecake, no doubt, croissant and cheesecake will appear as objectively real. Number one, act of appearing objectively real. And then you see this, then your mind engages with this as objectively real. So mistake in both ways. Arahats, even if they don't get the cheesecake and croissant for 10 years, they see the croissant and cheesecake continue will appear as objectively real, but they will never grasp as objectively real. You're getting it? They know that they don't exist as objectively real. Okay, so arahats, they've already, why arahats they don't grasp as objectively real? Because they are already eradicated self-grasping ignorance. Why they still have the things appearing as objectively real? Because they are still with the cognitive obscurations. You're getting, because they still have the cognitive obscurations. Very good. Okay, you're done?
Very clear. Thank you.
Very clear? Okay. Chen, happy?
Yes.
Everyone happy?
Yes.
Or Martin not happy? Yes.
There is a point I don't understand. Is how they can get the equity, non-duality, if they don't understand emptiness.
Who? The arahats. Arahats, they understand emptiness.
Of the material, the phenomena.
Arahats, they understand emptiness. Arahats, they realize emptiness directly. Arahats, they realize emptiness directly. Okay, look. Look. There are two versions. One is Prasangika version and one is the lower school's version. According to lower school's version, arahats may not realize emptiness. But according to Prasangika, they must realize emptiness. They must realize emptiness non-dualistically. There are two versions. Keep this in mind. If some teachers teach you that arahats don't realize emptiness, ask him which tradition you are following. Right? Some teachers they may not have studied the Prasangika version. We're getting what we're doing here is the Prasangika version. Okay. Otherwise, happy? Huh? Well, how many are... Hey, Virginia, what happened?
Est-ce que les vols cognitifs... Enfin, quel est l'impact des vols cognitifs sur la rate? Est-ce que il a encore ce voile a la capacité, le potentiel de se manifester sous forme de quelque chose? Alors, le voile cognitif pour la rate, est-ce qu'il a encore le potentiel de les empreintes des graines karmiques? Donc, est-ce que ça a encore le potentiel de se manifester ou pas? D'arriver à maturation?
For the arat, the cognitive obstruction can still manifest something, produce something in the mind.
Yes, yes. Mistaken appearance. Mistaken appearance is produced. Anyone else? No. Question with this. Both? Yes.
Hier, tu viens de dire, parce que c'est vrai de se poser la question et... On se posait la question, effectivement, un arat qui poursuit son chemin jusqu'à la bouddhéité doit pratiquer donc, les cyberflexions et justement, puisqu'il ne peut plus se mettre en colère, comment il fait pour développer la patience?
We have this question also. But if an arat finally has to enter in the Mahayana path, so he has to practice the 6 perfections, and if he doesn't have any seed for anger, how can he practice patience?
Oh. This never came to my mind. Okay, good question. Good question. Okay, good question. Okay, let me give the answer later.
I just had the impression that the answer given to was not 100% an answer to her question.
What is the...
Yeah? Then I misunderstood the question.
Okay, then anyone related to what we have described, related to the two obscurations?
Yes, sometimes we say also that the cognitive obstruction is the duality of the two truths. The two truths we cannot apprehend both at the same time.
Okay. This is also the point. The reason why we cannot have the two truths, why we cannot, why we don't have the access, direct access, not just access, direct access to the two truths simultaneously is because of the cognitive obscuration. Answer is yes. Answer is yes. Because when we are into, say, when you're into the ultimate analysis, you cannot go into the conventional analysis. So only ultimate truth directly and not conventional truth. When you go to conventional truth, your mind cannot be switched into the ultimate analysis. So therefore, this is a problem. So duality happens. Not really duality. This is known as the, not duality, this is known as the non-simultaneity of the direct access to the two truths. Non-simultaneity, consecutiveness. Okay, anyone?
I wonder if I'm true, afflictions, they are mental factors.
The afflictive obscurations are the mental factors.
And the cognitive, what is the nature of cognitive obscuration?
Okay, cognitive obscuration, it is one of the inactive seeds within us. Inactive seeds of the afflictive obscurations, which manifest in the form of, say, the mistaken appearance. That inactive seed, that is cognitive obscurations. Anyone else related to this question? Okay, if not related to this question, still the answer is not fully given. Right? Patrick is very happy, Jen is very happy, but still the answer is not fully given. Right? Okay, unless the question comes from the audience, I will run away from it. Right? The question is, because the question is coming from me, answer will not come. So the question is that how this misperception, seeing things as things appearing as object real, appearance, mistaken appearance object real, that stops you from cognizing all phenomena. That stops you from achieving omniscience. You getting it? This is the main question. Okay, now patience. Right? Okay, this question never comes to me. Yes, that's true. Okay. Okay, let's say the patience. Patience, there are three kinds of patience. Okay, the first one is the patience for bearing the pains. Right? The patience for bearing the pains. Patience to forbear the pains. Number two is the patience of not paying heed to the perpetrator. Perpetrator, the one who does the wrong thing on you. The patience towards the perpetrator. Patience towards the perpetrator. Perpetrator means harm-doer. The one who harms you. The patient towards the harm-doer. Then number three, the patience of forbearing the subtle dharmas. Patience towards dharma. Patience towards dharma. Okay. So the patience, when we speak of the patience, of course, anger and a patience. Anger is subdued with the help of the patience. That's true. But patience is not only subduing anger. Patience is not only subduing anger. Patience it has many versions, 3 versions. Okay, what's the first one?
Bearing hardships.
Patience, bearing the hardships, or bearing the pains. You getting it? Okay. So this I would say that the patience bearing the pain, that when I would say, generally speaking, say that once you become Arahat, and then having to follow the 6 perfections, so the practice of patience. Say you pertain to this one, bearing the hardships. Bearing the hardships there too. Bearing the hardships there too. Say the hardships and the pains. Say Arhats, what they're used to doing is they more or less they run away from the community, more or less. They very serious practitioners, they run away from the community. It's strange. Within the Theravada practitioners, they are actually the design, the structure of the practice is the personal liberation, to seek personal liberation. But amongst them, there are some who are working for the community, social activists, incredible great social activists, great teachers, sacrificing a lot, social activists, more than personal liberation. They really work for the education of the masses and so forth. Amazing. I know one abbot, very young abbot. He is working so tirelessly for others. So simply because he was born in the Theravada tradition, right? Born to tradition, then he became a monk, then he became very popular, and then his mind might have the Mahayana inclination, but he was in that situation. Okay, so the point is that what the Theravadas do is, in terms of bearing the hardships, say, I go to my personal liberation, I might achieve Nirvana very quickly, so I go to Himalaya. So Himalaya, you don't get food easily. You feel cold, right? So you have to bear. you have to bear these pains. But the Bodhisattvas, the pain that the pains and hardships that they bear is much more than what the Shravakas, Buddhas, they bear. Bodhisattvas, they can think of taking birth in the hell realm for eons and eons. Eons and eons for others. This the Arhats never thought about. Right? So this practice, suddenly you remove anger, then it's so easy to do it. No, this all requires training. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You practice it, you cannot do it. It's not that irritation is not there. For us, you have to, so you attended Bodhicitta retreat, now you're from Bodhisattva path, you should be ready to take birth in hell realm, eons and eons. No, right? For the Arhats, this kind of irritation will not happen. Irritation disappears. No mental irritation. But they cannot do it. They cannot. This strength, energy is not there. Energy is not there. So for that matter, they have to practice. That practice to bear, to be able to do these things is known as the patience. Practice patience. One. What's number two, patience?
Not retaliating.
No?
The harming back.
Okay. Number two, with the perpetrators, harm-doers. With the harm-doers, okay, usually what happens? For the Arhats, right? People who actually come to harm them individually. Hey, you're not about to practice, you're not allowed to practice here, right? I'll imprison you, right? Okay, never mind, your imprison is fine, right? So this is something related to them. They can bear it. Those people who come to harm them, they can bear it. But they never thought about how to say what His Holiness the Dalai is doing, right? How he is doing things to really protect so many people, right? Say 6 million Tibetans, then all humanity, all human beings. How he was thinking like this the Arhats, they don't really think. Again, even after you become an Arhat, you have to train to reach to that level of the energy, right? That you try to do it, you cannot do it. Mentally, you cannot do it. You're getting it? So, if there are many people who are harming others, how to deal with them? How to deal with, for example, say the Hitler destroying all the Jews, right? Likewise, Napoleon, right? What is that? Napoleon Bonaparte, right? So, and then Mao Zedong, right? How many people were killed, right? So when the Arhats, they never thought about these things, how to protect others, right? They only say somebody comes to harm them, okay, you can harm him, it's fine. I feel drawn angry towards you, that's fine. But when people come to harm the hundreds, millions, thousands, then they never thought about these things. You're getting it? So for this, again, we have to be trained. So for that, this one's a practice of patience pertaining to the harm doers. What's the next one? What's the next one? Patience pertaining to the Dharma, subtle Dharma. You're getting it? Subtle Dharma. And the Mahayana teachings. Mahayana teachings, they are very sophisticated, extremely sophisticated. For example, to give you one example, say, for somebody who is seeking personal liberation, for somebody who is seeking personal liberation, for somebody who is this modern practice. Okay, for somebody who is seeking personal liberation, right? Okay, tell me, which is more difficult? Somebody who is seeking this, somebody who practices, say, hunger, I have to bear it, cold, I have to bear it, somebody scolds me, I have to bear it, right? No fight against, right? Okay, good food, I'm scared, right? Okay, good food, I feel attached to it, it's very dangerous. A good car is very dangerous, even more dangerous, A good big house, very dangerous. Oh, I must stay away from this. So, no big house, no cars, so you have to walk. Then no good food, suddenly you don't get food, hunger. Okay, so still bear it. This is my dharma practice, One. Another person who has good cars, who has good food, going to the parties, right? And good cars, good house, and many people to support him, right? Okay, and yet so many complications taking care of millions of people, right? Millions of people. For the millions of people, he could see how the problems arise. He or she, not only he, she also, how the problems arise, right? Say, when somebody comes, okay, say, this group, we don't have the place to stay, okay, we sign a check, $2 million, check, give it to you, okay, you can buy land, plot, whatever, and you stay there. So this is how the person is taken care of. You're getting it? And then say, planning. And so many people trying to destroy the whole community. Planning and struggling. Okay, which of the two practices is more difficult? Many of the people will see just the first one is more difficult. Second one is a luxurious house, cars, good food, people to support you. No, right? It is a tremendous thinking, and in such people, they don't really have any attachment to the big cars, house, and so forth. If they're given a choice, if this style is not benefiting other people, he or she will happily go into the Himalayas without any food. You're getting into no attachment. Yet, if he or she is not in this position, somebody else will come in this position. That person will destroy the whole community. Right? Take advantage of this and not help the community. Okay, so therefore, the Bodhisattva, these are something which the ordinary people cannot understand. It's so profound, very subtle. You're getting it? Bodhisattva's practices. Okay. It's possible, how the Bodhisattvas, they do, right? For example, say, which is easier? Say, you have in your house, you want to keep your house clean, or you have to keep your house stuffed with things. Which do you want to do? Clean, right? So less number of things. Okay. For the Buddha said, for those people who seek personal liberation, keep less things with you. Keep less things. For the Bodhisattvas, say for example, if you are following Bodhisattva path, and then you know that there are so many people around, to get this kind of mug is very difficult, right? Or to get this kind of cloth, say 50 years ago, not now. Nowadays we don't really need this kind of cloth. 50 years ago, say this kind of cloth. This cloth can save your time. This cloth can really wake you up, right? It does magic. Okay, so how many such clothes do you need? You want only one. Then somebody presents you 20. What's the use of this? I have no space to keep, right? Only one. Bodhisattvas, even if it gives you hundreds, not only one you may sell. Old ones working, but old one you can sell. And then there's so many, you want only one. At the most, if you have 3 rooms, you need three, not 1,000. 1,000 is garbage for you, right? Many people for sure, they will either throw them or call somebody and give, okay, take it away, right now. Right? Whereas the Bodhisattvas, although it is a garbage, but for the Bodhisattvas, it is, you must give them. Whenever somebody comes, you should be able to give. Whenever you go out to see that some family with 10 children, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, and they don't have even one cloth, you see them, you should be able to give. Right? So therefore, these things we need patience. We need patience. We need love and affection, without which such things will not happen. So the Bodhisattva practices are much more difficult than the practice for the personal liberation seekers. It doesn't mean that it's not difficult. Means personal liberation seekers, they eat only one meal a day. So Bodhisattvas, they are not to eat any meal. No, this is not understanding. Not eating meal for yourself is very easy. It's not difficult, right? Doing something big is very difficult. This is what Bodhisattvas are doing. They sacrifice themselves so much. Okay. What is this? Patience. Now, for the Bodhisattvas, now not only these things are more the practical generosities. Now, Bodhisattva's job is to take everyone to Gade, right? To give food and these things, to give food, to give cloth and these things will not take the person to Gade. Right? So by giving these things, what happens? That people will feel that you are a very compassionate person. The moment they feel you as a compassionate person, they will trust you. When they trust you, then you teach how to go Gade. You getting it? So for that matter, you have to teach Gade. What is that Gade? What is that to be taught? What is to be taught for somebody to take them to his Gade? What should you teach? Huh? Dharma. What's Dharma? Wisdom of emptiness. Very good. Okay, right? Okay, wisdom of emptiness. Okay. So wisdom of emptiness, right? Some people will say, okay, the four seals. No, the four essentials. And some, wow, it's amazing. And others will say, it's not so interesting. Then you have to teach something else. 7 rejections. The second group, they feel very happy. Third person, the 7 rejections is not really appealing. Right? And then they said, can you please teach something of dependent origination? Oh yes, dependent origination. Then other people, okay, it's not really interesting. Can you teach something about, say, how everything is, all the impermanent phenomena, how they are empty because they are composite phenomena, right? Again, you have to teach. So, personal liberation seekers, arhats, what they do is they just look for the study of emptiness which suits themselves. They practice it and they reach nirvana, finish. Whereas the Bodhisattvas, not just for themselves, but how to teach this girl, how to teach this boy, how to teach this boy, how to teach this girl, how to teach this girl. You have to know all the angles. You're getting all the angles. Okay, if somebody asks me, hey, did you see Paris? My answer is yes, of course. I saw with my own eyes. Yes, trust me, I was in Paris. Yes, I was in Paris, right? And you're also in Saint Cosme. You also went to Saint Cosme. Yes, I went to Saint Cosme. Paris, Saint Cosme, right? Okay. Oh wow, it's amazing. You have actually seen it, not just thinking. You have actually seen that. Yes. Right? Okay. Now, the Paris, and somebody wants to come to see me. The person said, okay, I live in this place in zone what? In zone 3, zone 2, zone 4, right? And I may be a little difficult, right? So I have something, very important thing to give to you. Or to pass to His Holiness Dalai Lama. Would you mind coming there? I don't know how to come. Although I've seen Paris, but how I see is just the guest house where I stayed. That's it, finish. Right? And I do not know how to go here, there. Right? But I saw Paris. Okay. Who is very familiar with Paris? In raise your hands. Okay, Patrick, Claire, Ellie, Mary. Okay. So how they know Paris and how I know Paris is very different. How I know Paris is like a very small child knowing Paris. And how they know Paris is real. They really know Paris like as well. Paris is in the palm of the hand. You're getting it? Likewise, emptiness. How the other huts, they know emptiness is like how I know Paris. And how the Bodhisattvas know emptiness is like how they clear, Ellie, Mary, Patrick, who else? His hands. Here. Okay. So how you know Paris? This is how Bodhisattvas know Paris so well. Whichever direction you are, right? You can give the direction. Okay, you can come like this. Whereas the Arhats, they know Paris the way I know Paris, right? Okay, this is difference. So for that, the sophistication of the knowledge. Arhats, they don't have the sophistication of knowledge. The moment the sophistication of knowledge is given, then although they mentally they don't feel irritated, but their eyelashes double. You know what eyelashes double? You don't know that. You have no experience. Okay, which means that it's right after lunch. Eyelashes double means once what happened was that I was very young, inexperienced, right? Studied emptiness, Bodhicitta for about I think how many years? For about I think 8-9 years. Very inexperienced, I think 26 something years, right? And it's Dharma, everybody, I must teach Dharma to everyone. Right? I was so enthusiastic, no experience. And then there was one soldier, the Buddhist soldier, right? Very pious, cleaning the temple, taking care of the temple, right? And he's so interested. Please teach me Dharma. Wow, it's amazing. He's interested. And yes, Dharma is so precious. I must teach everything. Whatever I learned in 10 years, I taught him in 1 hour. Taught him 1 hour. And suddenly he was not the drowsy. He's not falling asleep. But his eyelash is double. What happened to you? So his brain working very differently. Never worked like this. Confused, right? And the eyelashes double. Wow, I stopped myself. I stopped. This is known as unskillfulness. You getting it? Why did I say this? Okay, so the point is Arhats. Arhats, what they know is don't know one straight way. But the Bodhisattvas, they know all the ways. Because Bodhisattvas have to guide all different people. Arhats, their responsibility is not necessarily to guide others. You getting it? Okay, so therefore this is patience. Patience, particularly to the practice of Dharma, the study of Dharma, which is study, reflection, meditation, which is very sophisticated, which the Bodhisattvas do. Whereas other Arhats, they don't have this. So the moment they are introduced to such a vast and profound the Dharma of the Bodhisattvas, they get lost. It's not that they feel irritated. Anger is what? When the irritation arises. There's no irritation, but they get lost. They struggle. Right? So for that, you have to practice patience to get through. Okay, now, yes.
What will motivate the Arhats to become Bodhisattva? It looks like so difficult to go from Arhat to Bodhisattva because they're already eradicated.
Okay, so for the Arhats, question? What motivates the Arhats to eventually join the Bodhisattva path? This question. Because for the Arhats, the lifestyle, not really lifestyle, what should I say, the practice is much simpler, easier as compared to the Bodhisattva's practice. So how come that? What can possibly motivate them to join the Bodhisattva path? Okay, this is a very serious question. In fact, what it says is that often, practically speaking, I personally think that practically speaking, the teachers make a huge difference. Teachers make a huge difference. What teachers you meet, right? And even if you are the more into the but you are talking about the Arhat level, right? Arhat level. It says that they go into non-dual wisdom and emptiness. They try to stay in this experience. what we described as renunciation, what we described as nirvana. Just in this experience of the emptiness, all the miseries dissolve. There's just tremendous peace. Versus seal number 4. Nirvana is true peace, or transcendence on sorrow is absolute peace. So they experience this in the absolute. They just abide in the experience of the absolute peace. And ideally speaking, when they go into non-dual experience of emptiness, non-dual, direct experience of emptiness, to experience this absolute peace, nobody can wake them up. Even if you push the body like this, you cannot stir them from the meditation. Even the body, you just pick it up and throw like this. So the meditation, they will not arise from the meditation. They will still remain. The meditation is that profound. You're getting it? Okay. Now, how come that, they then follow the Bodhisattva path? What motivates them? Okay. So there it says that the Buddha, because when the time ripens, the Buddha appears, and the Buddha snaps like this. Buddha snaps right in front of the ears, like this. Because of this, the power of the Buddha snap, unlike the other people like pushing the body like this, right? But just by the power of this, right, they are awakened from the meditative experience, non-dual experience of the meditation. They wake up from this, and then who is that person who wakes me up? Nobody can wake me up from. Nobody can wake me up from my meditation. But today somebody woke me up. So who is that person, right? And he or she looks around and see the Buddha sitting next. Then the Buddha was saying, although you are liberated from the ocean of samsara, still you are not liberated fully. Still you have not perfected your qualities. Qualities of body, speech and mind. If you don't believe, look at me. So then he or she would look at the Buddha and see that it's very different from them, right? Then they would be very inspired. How come that you are like this? So the Buddha said, practice the Bodhisattva path. You have to achieve Buddhahood, or which you have to practice the Bodhisattva path. So this is how they are driven towards the Bodhisattva path. Okay, now, continuation from, any more questions? Okay, what we can do is that, yes.
So, first part of the first question, the suffering of change is experienced in the desire realm and the form realm, and not in the formless realm. My question is to know why the formless realm doesn't include this type of suffering, because, for example, when their karma will be finished, will ripen, those beings have to experience change. You have to take rebirth and experience change.
Okay, this is a good question. Whose question is this? Okay, good questions. Okay. Nico, next time if you want to call me to France, you have to tell me what questions are coming. So I have to prepare accordingly. Oh, yes. Okay, so the answer is it is not simply because something changes, it should be known as suffering change. This is not the connotation. Suffering change is, in the first place, which is a suffering, and at the same time, which the ordinary people initially sees it as very pleasant, sees is that is very pleasant. Very pleasant means which excites. Joy. For example, I remember. Okay, say somebody is in a very remote village, you hardly get any chocolates. At the most, you get ordinary candies, not real chocolate. Right? And then at that point, say, if you give one chocolate to the child, what is the feeling like in the child? Tell me, what is the feeling like? Huh? Excitement, right? Tremendous joy, excitement. Okay. Whereas, if somebody gives you a piece of chocolate today to you now, will you be that excited as that young boy or young girl? You will not be excited. What is this? Right? Okay, to make you happy, I'll eat it. Otherwise, there's no excitement. Likewise, suffering of change is what gives you excitement. Right? Same object may not excite others. Same object may excite some. So what makes, right? Say if somebody is about to give you the one piece of chocolate and says, oh sorry, I give it to Nico, then you cry, you feel so low, you do like this? No, but a small child may do like this. Why? The thinking is not matured. You getting it? So those in the form realm, not all, the first three form realm, their thinking is less mature than the formless, the fourth form realm and the formless realm. Because their thinking is less matured, they are prone to excitement. They are prone to excitement. You getting it? Because this excitement, that is the one. That is one.
Because they got the first.
Yes. Okay. Because of this excitement because of the immaturity. Right? Whereas others are not excited. So when excited, when you don't get it, then it goes into pain. You're getting it? So this is known as the suffering of change. Where this technically is known as the joy. Not the emotional joy. Emotional joy is very good. Joy of getting the chocolate. Joy of getting good car. Joy. Some people say, you get good car, okay, it's fine. There's no excitement or the joy. Joy meaning excitement. For example, you win the World Football Cup, World Cup, right? And then when they get the trophy, what's the excitement? So excited, So these are the weakness. These are not the strength. These are the weakness. You take the cup, you lift it up like this, I'll be fine. Right? Not like this. This is weakness. When you don't get it, sorry, it's not France, it is Germany. You go down. Whereas you pick it up, France is for the France, right? You pick it up, okay, like this. And somebody, oh sorry, it's not the France, it's Germany. But you give it there. Germany, Belgium. You give it there. You give it there. Huh? Uruguay. What is Uruguay?
Uruguay. It's a country.
Uruguay. Yes. So, it's fine. Okay, take it away. It's not, okay, it's not ours. Sorry. Take it away. Then you will not, because no excitement, you will not go into depression. Right? This is weakness. It's not sign of strength. It's a weakness. Right? But sometimes in your family, right? For example, my birthday, and people come to celebrate. There's so much excitement. And then they say, happy birthday to you, and I'm very calm. Like this, no excitement. What happened to you? Right? Just to make you happy? Yes, deep inside, not affected. Right? Just to make you happy, make it sound like this. His Holiness the Dalai Lama sometimes, right? Small children, they dance for him. He's also do like this. Actually, deep inside, he's not doing it. He must be feeling so bored. Right? He's doing this just to make you happy. He's doing like this. Yeah. Whereas people who actually do like this is danger. Whereas this, when somebody suddenly they stop it, then what happened? They go to depression, right? So that's the control, right? Okay. What did you say this? Okay. So now the answer is done, right? Oh, you got the answer? Good. Next question. You can read first in French.
Que signifie la faculté de l'esprit? What does mean the emptiness of mind? What does it mean, emptiness of mind?
Okay. Whose question is this? Next time, if Old and Jen is coming for the retreat, let me know. Right? For the game is first. Then I'll send somebody else. I'm sorry, I cannot come. Don't worry, I'll send another teacher. Okay, what is the emptiness of mind? Good question. Very precious question. Okay, so Oath should remind me tomorrow. Tomorrow's second session. Okay, done. Good. If you learn how to practice, how to meditate on the emptiness of mind, then you can extend this to the emptiness of the pains, feeling of the pain. This is very important. If you learn how to meditate on the emptiness of the mind, then the feeling of pain is also part of mind. Then you will also learn how to meditate on the emptiness of the pain. So when you go into the pain, when you go to the brain, when you go to pain, then you can meditate on the emptiness of the pain. The moment you get a glimpse of the emptiness of pain, pain disappears. Okay. Right? So therefore the meditation emptiness of mind, to know this meditation emptiness of mind is very precious. Okay. Now yesterday we were doing what? The method of equalizing the exchanges of others. Out of the 9 steps, we were done with which step? 7. What is this, step number 7? Okay, now I hope you have the 9 steps on your fingertips. Okay, what are the 9 steps on your fingertips? Step 1. Equalizing 7 others. Number 2. Okay, reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself. Number 3, reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Number 4, taking the suffering for others with emphasis on compassion. Number 5, giving your happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. Number 6, actual exchange of the 7 others. Number 7, special recollection of the kindness of others. Number 8, altruism. Number 9, bodhicitta. Very good. Okay, so which we did? We finished which ones? 7 finished. What is the 8th one? 8. Altruism. Okay, so now what we need to know is that after step 7 is the actual special recollection of the kindness of others. Special recollection of the kindness of others. After doing this, then the point is that you become very convinced. Now cherishing others is the ultimate source of my happiness. Cherishing myself is the ultimate source of miseries to me. Miseries on me. Right? So thinking of cherishing oneself, you will feel so unhappy. Thinking of cherishing others makes you so happy. Right? Okay. Now, let's say the other practice, 7-fold cause-effect method. 7-fold cause-effect method, which we are yet to do. 7-fold cause-effect method. There, you remember the kindness of the parents, the mothers. Then you repay the kindness. It is like okay, you did something to me, so therefore I'm going to do to you, right? Therefore I'm going to do to you. So this is like repaying. Whereas here is very different, right? So repaying in the first case, sevenfold cosmic, when you repay, it is not that when you're repaying you're benefited. No, this is not the idea. So whereas here, which is so beautiful part of this practice, equalizing exchanges of others, this practice, very beautiful part of this practice, is that in the process of you feeling you loving others, right? I should cherish you. The process. Every moment you start cherishing others, so therefore I cherish others, therefore I love you. As you do this, self-centered attitude, this is beautiful practice. Other cherishing increases. As the other cherishing increases, self-centered attitude is diminishing. That is diminishing. As the self-centered attitude diminishes, your Buddha nature becomes awakened. It's beautiful practice. So the act of cherishing others is your Buddha nature becoming manifested. You are benefited. Directly benefited. So it is like saying, somebody says that, okay, you are in Saint Cosme, and then you get the job offer from Paris. Right? Job offer in Paris, and they say that I cannot give you place. Right? So place is very difficult there. So you have to travel. How many hours you travel? Mary? From Saint Cosme to Paris, how many hours you travel? 2 hours, right? They're 240 kilometers per hour, right? 140 kilometers, 2 hours. 140 kilometers, 2 hours back. It's very tiring, right? Okay, it's a good job. Okay, look. There's a job offer that's very good, but I have to travel 140 kilometers, 100 kilometers back. If 100 kilometers, then 3 hours, so much waste of time. Then the what? Your boss in Paris knows that you are very competent, you are extremely competent, and you are indispensably needed for the company. So now the company fears that you may not join because it's very far away, and because you have Kalachakra Center to take care of. You don't want to move to Paris also. So he fears that you may not join. So what he says that don't worry, right? Every 1 meter that you start moving, you will be paid. Is it good or bad? Every 1 meter that you move, 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, you're being paid for that. Good job and bad job. Good job. You're moving 140 kilometers. Don't worry, you're being paid for that. 140 minutes coming back, you're paid for that. It's amazing, right? So the process, every process, Buddha nature becomes more and more awakened. This being paid. Every process is amazingly powerful practice, right? This is a beautiful practice. Okay, with this, up to this point, step 7, you come to get the feeling that now other cherishing is the best thing that I have to do. Self-cherishing is the most destructive thing. Henceforth, I will not cherish the self, I will cherish others for my own good. Because what I want is I want Buddhahood. This is the greatest thing. And the greatest Buddhahood is given by the other cherishing mind, not by the self-centered attitude. With this, what happens? Others become so precious for you. Others become so precious for you. Now what happens? Your mind flows towards. Others. So intensely it flows. Believe it or not, how the mother feels, right? Okay, I do see that in most of the cases, the mothers, not 100%, but in 80% or 70% of mothers, how they are raising their children is as though like their whole life is just for the sake of this child. It's amazing, such a sacrifice, such a love. Their whole existence is for the child. Amazing, right? So, for that matter, when the child says, "Mother, you are just nothing," And if the mother feels that, the child feels happy. If I say, yes, I'm nothing, mother will say, yes, I'm nothing. Right? The mother simply wants to make the child happy. This is such incredible. This is what one will start to feel. Right? You will not see any difference, say, what the other person is. Buddhists, Christians, Jews, believers, non-believers, no difference. For you, your love flows towards everyone equally intensely. Then at that point you feel like a mother and all others are your children. No difference. Right? Say if you are the practitioner, Bodhicitta practitioner and following the Sunni tradition, and you see the Shia Muslim, you don't feel this difference. You feel that you are my child. Right? And then say you are from, for example, say the countries, say the wars happening, then the fights happening, and so forth. But for you, no difference. Everyone just suffering because of self-grasping, self-centered attitude, creating border, my border, right? All this because of self-centered attitude. My religion, your religion, self-centered attitude. It's not really religion, right? My religion is the best. It's just self-centered attitude. So all this will be dissolved when you reach to this level, right? No difference in ethnicity, no difference. Everyone's equal. No difference in religions. Everyone's equal in your eyes. Everyone's like a small child. They are all equally suffering. Why? Simple. Because self-centered attitude, self-grasping is 100% guaranteed. Right? Whether the other person is believer, not believer, scientist, the male, female, the east, west, north, south, no difference. Everyone is suffering because of self-grasping, self-centered attitude, 100%. And then you know that it is me with these two demons. I've been suffering so much. Now, because of having met with the teaching on Bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, I'm able to say no to self-grasping, self-centered attitude. So with this, now I'll reach to a level where I feel so compassionate, loving towards everyone equally. Right? It's not that I'm more special, because I'm met with this brilliant teaching. Whereas all these beings, other beings, whether Buddhists, non-Buddhists, whether males, females, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, they are suffering because they have not met with this teaching. They're suffering because of these two demons. So that way you feel so compassionate and this bias stops. Prejudice stops. Literally you will feel like a mother and seeing your own children, whosoever you meet, no difference. Even if your nation is fighting with your nation, no difference. Even if your religion, people, uneducated people, they are fighting with your religion and others, they are fighting. For you, there's no difference. All are equally your children. Okay, this is a beautiful practice. Now with this, what happens is that you feel so extremely close to the sentient being. This is known as feeling of love and affection. Intense feeling of love and affection you are feeling. Okay, now subject-wise, feeling of love and affection is already there. Now the object is what? The sentient beings. Right? What is compassion? Compassion is where your mind is the subject, very loving spirit of mind, subject, and the object is the beings are suffering. This is, when this happens, then this love and affection will take the form of compassion. We did that already? Good. Okay, now you look at the beings to whom you love so much. They are suffering terribly because of the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Everyone, no difference. Whether your religion, other religion, male, female, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, it doesn't matter, north, south, east, west, no difference. All are suffering terribly, and yet you love them so much. So what happens? Your feeling of love and affection will take the form of compassion. What is compassion? What is compassion? Hey, what is compassion? What is compassion? A feeling of love and affection which wishes others to be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. You're getting it? So when you see that beings are suffering terribly, sickness, aging, death, and the husband and wife split, the fights, and the children become orphan. The children, they go through such a difficult period when the parents die, right? And the depression, and the pain of losing near and dear ones. So much of pain. Okay, so when seeing this pain, your mind will become acutely take the form of compassion. May you be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Compassion. Okay, now say that I have reached this level. Say, with this practice, now I have reached a level of that so much love and affection just exudes, flow, right? Flow like a current towards the beings. And yet, seeing the pains of sentient beings, it will take the form of acutely intense feeling of compassion. May all you be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Okay, let's say that I reached this level, or all of us will reach that level. Tell me what's the next question. Still is not bodhicitta, right? So what could be your next question? So where did we reach? What point we reached? We reached the point where we have the intense compassion. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Okay, now what could be the next question from this? Anyone? Yes. Okay. May all beings be free from suffering and cause suffering. Who is going to do it? Right? This question, who's going to do it? Who is going to do it? You? Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm a little busy. Right? Maybe Buddhas and Bodhisattas, they'll do it. Which means you don't take the responsibility. Right? Who's going to do it? I will do it. I will do it. This is what is step number 8. What is step number 8? Altruism. You're getting it? Between step 7 and step 8, there's implicit step. Implicit step meaning there's a step in between, which is implicitly you have to understand it. That is great compassion. Great compassion is between step 7 and step 7 and step 8. Great compassion should be included inside, in between. It is implicitly there, right? With step 7, then you think about the suffering nature of sentient beings. Automatically, it takes form of the great compassion. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Then the question arises: who is going to do that? Who is going to free all beings from suffering and cause of suffering? Oh, this is a good question. I will do it. I will do it. I will take the responsibility that all beings are free from suffering and the cause of suffering. You getting it? This is known as altruism. Okay, what could be the next question? Hey, I said, I will do it. What could be the next question?
How can I?
Virginia? ¿Cómo es? How? Okay, good question. How am I going to do it? Good question. Okay. In the monastery, the first monastery, Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, which is so kind to me, right? In this monastery, when I was myself somewhere in the middle, meaning not too senior, not too junior, somewhere in the middle, there was a junior monk, and he has his elder brother, whose elder brother is not a monk. Elder brother is just studying some other studies, doing some other studies, but the younger brother he is a monk. And the elder brother is so always concerned about his younger brother, because the younger brother has some health issues. So the elder brother is so concerned about the younger brother. Every Sunday, elder brother would come to make sure that his younger brother is well taken care of, his room is fine. So one day he came, elder brother came. Elder brother came. So this the elder brother told me later on. Elder brother came, and it so happened that the younger brother was missing. He was not there. And elder brother just entered his room, younger brother's room, and he saw that the room was so dirty, messy. Elder brother became so agitated. Elder brother said, how come that this boy, right? Look at how he's keeping himself so dirty, messy. He doesn't know how to take care of himself. And yet he's every day saying prayer, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. He cannot even take care of himself. How can he take care of all sentient beings? Right? So this is his complaint. So therefore, for us, the question is, I will take the responsibility to free all beings from suffering and the cause of suffering. What's the question? Como? Huh? Como or coma? Como, right? Como, how? Yes, this is a good question. Okay. I never thought about it. Yes. Okay, how? Then what do? You go into the history of the humanity. You go into the history of the humanity and see if there's anyone who was able to do that. Go into the history of humanity, then you come to realize that 2,500 years ago, there was a young prince by the name Prince Siddhartha. Then he left the palace. 6 years he went through such an austere practice, and finally, under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, he became fully awakened, and he became the reliable guide, right? Reliable guide to guide all sentient beings towards Buddhahood through 4 steps. Initial motivation of altruism to benefit all sentient beings. Then became the teacher. Then experienced the Sugatahood. Then became the protector. With these 4 stages, he became such a reliable guide who is perfected with 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. But what are the 3 qualities that this young prince perfected? Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Anybody who is perfected in these 3 qualities is competent to benefit all sentient beings simultaneously. Again, how? You getting it? Okay, so how? First, what's the first quality? Perfect love. What's the second one? Perfect knowledge. Let's begin with perfect knowledge. Say, you are a young girl and a young boy, age maybe 10, 11, and your father tells you that, hey, study well. If you study well, I will always help you. I will support you. Study well. And then, one day your exam is coming. Your exam is approaching, very near. Your exam, science exam. And you went to your father. Oh, my father told me that he's going to support me, right? My exam is approaching. Now I will study. Father, you must teach me science. You promised me to help me. I want to study now. My science exam is approaching. And the father said, very sorry, my daughter, my son, very sorry. Because when I was in school, I always failed in science. So your father cannot help you. Why your father cannot help you? Because he's lacking knowledge. Because he's lacking knowledge, right? So when you don't have the knowledge, when you're not perfected with knowledge, you cannot benefit all sentient beings. So in order to benefit all sentient beings, you must have perfect knowledge, number 1. And the father said, okay, don't worry. Although I failed in science, I cannot teach you science. But next door neighbor is a great physicist, is a great scientist, professor of science. You go and ask him. You go in, knock on the door, and the professor with the thick spectacles came out. Right? Came out. Hey, what do you want? Hey, young girl, what do you want? Right? Oh, my science exam is over. Please teach me science. 500 euros per hour. 500 euros per hour. Okay. Impossible. You go back to your father, he's asking for 500 euros per hour, right? Okay, so even the professor, science professor cannot help you. Is it because that he's lacking knowledge? No. He's lacking what? Love. If your father or mother, they will never ask for 500 euros per hour, right? So he's lacking love. Even he cannot help you because he is lacking love. So in order for you to benefit other sentient beings, your love must be perfected too. Then your father says, don't worry. Although your mother is not a scientist, not a professor in science, but when she was in school, she was a topper in science. Right? And your mother will come after the office work this evening, and the mother comes. Then you jump into to the mother and please teach me science. And mother, please don't come close to me because I have loose motion. Loose motion means stomach problem because she ate a wrong cake, stale cake. She ate a wrong cake. What? Rotten cake, expired cake. Right? And because she has a stomach ache, she has the love, she has the knowledge. What is she lacking? Power. So she cannot help you because she's lacking the power. So in order for somebody to really benefit you fully, right, you need these three things perfected. Who in the history of the humanity has perfected these two qualities? You see that it's Prince Siddhartha who became the Buddha, who perfected these three qualities. Wow, it's amazing. In the history of humanity, there's somebody who became like him, right? So, what is he known as? He's known as the Buddha. He's known as the Buddha. Okay, then you say, may I also become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. That is Bodhicitta, step number 9. You getting it? Okay. So, this is how we should be practicing. Although we don't have time for the same actually doing this in the form of guided meditation and so forth here, but I would very much encourage each one of us. In my own capacity, I'm also doing this method and other method together, right? So, if you don't do this, then don't expect that this intense feeling of love and a beautiful feeling of love and affection will come out naturally. Never happen, right? And amongst the human beings, okay, now I'm going to overboard. I'm crossing my border, right? Amongst the human beings who really display such a quality of love and affection, the way it's described here is so rare. So rare, right? In my life, I've seen only few, very few, most of them in the monks. It's so rare. Somebody whose love and affection is already transcended ordinary people's love and affection, which is so rare. Right? From this we can see whether the person is actually meditating on this bodhicitta or not. We can see this very clearly. Right? Okay, this has nothing to do with the point. The point is that we have to practice it. If you practice it, it may take time. It'll take time. But no doubt, you will start feeling the change within you. You will become happier, happier, and happier. And how you become happier? You become very confident. You become very confident, very happy, very confident, and you will realize that this is the meaning of my life. And with the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, these two things, you will see that this is the meaning of my life. I'm so lucky that in this life I encountered with this teaching of bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? Wait, this is so precious. Okay.
Could you guide it tomorrow morning? Could you guide it one time, maybe tomorrow morning?
Okay. Tomorrow morning meaning the okay, we can do it, yeah. Tomorrow morning we can do that. Tomorrow morning
Instead of the 4 measurables?
Instead of 4 measurables, because 4 measurables is very easy. Easy, and it takes less time. So this will take a little longer. It doesn't matter, we'll do it tomorrow morning. Yeah, instead of 4 measurables, we'll do it tomorrow morning. Yeah. Okay, So with this, okay, let me share with you Arya Vajrapani. How many of you know Arya Vajrapani? How many of you heard about it? Arya Vajrapani. Who's Arya Vajrapani? Bodhisattva. Which Bodhisattva? Bodhisattva of power. Bodhisattva of power. Right? Okay. What happened was that once Buddha Shakyamuni was presiding over the gathering, then King Ajatashatru, who later became Buddha's disciple, he was also there. Then the king of the celestial beings, Indra, king of the gods and goddesses, Indra was also there. Then Mugulayana. Okay, so usually the Buddha on the two sides you see two monks. So the one on the right side is Shariputra, on the left side is Mugulayana. Shariputra is, why Shariputra and Mugulayana, two of them are depicted next to the Buddha. Shariputra, for his being respected as the one with the greatest intelligence amongst the Buddha's disciples. Shariputra, for his greatest intelligence amongst the Buddha's disciples, one. Then Mugulayana, the left side Mugulayana, for his having the greatest mental power amongst the Buddha's disciples. So, the Mugulayana was there, King Ajatashatru was there, then Indra, the king of the gods and goddesses, was there, and Bodhisattva Vajrapani was there. Right? Okay, and then presided over by the Bodhisattvas, the monks, the nuns, the devotees over there. Okay, with this, okay, let's say this is Vajra, right? Anyway, I've got this as a present. Daniel, you brought this pen, right? From?
One man.
What is his name?
Monsieur Kowet. Kowet is the family.
Mr. Kowetam.
He thought about the Buddha. He's not a practitioner, he's a good man. In his office, he has a small picture of the Buddha, of His Holiness. The second time, he's giving me some pen. And my mission is to give to a teacher. To someone, yeah. He doesn't know about Buddhism.
Okay, so this is, I got to say, let's say this is Vajra. Let's say this is Vajra. Vajrapani. Vajrapani meaning the one who holds the Vajra. Right? So this Bodhisattva, Vajrapani, he's always holding Vajra. So at times, okay, Tibetan Buddhism, we depict Vajrapani as a very scary one, very fierce, like a demon. Right? Look at it, it's very scary. Okay, Vajrapani is not actually like this. But he can take that form. He can take the form, but it's not actually like this. This is how the Tibetans, I don't know. Vajrapani, right? Vajrapani, he was there. And then Vajrapani was always holding a Vajra in his hand. Always holding a Vajra in his hand. Right? Then King Ajatashatru, he had this air, he had this feeling that I am the mightiest, physically mightiest person on the earth. He had this air, right, feeling superiority. Nowadays the young boys, they go for the muscle, gym exercise, make their muscle big, right? Like this, he was into this. He had this air that I'm the strongest person on this earth. But he's very curious about this Vajra. Bodhisattva Vajrapani, he was always holding his Vajra. Wherever he was going around the Buddha, he was always holding the Vajra. So this King Ajatasattu, he was very curious about this Vajra, what this Vajra might be like. So this Bodhisattva was always carrying his Vajra with him. What is Vajra? He liked to do. He liked to just know what this Vajra is like. Then the Buddha knew that. Buddha, through his clairvoyance, he sensed that, and the Buddha asked Bodhisattva Vajrapani, then addressed Bodhisattva Vajrapani. Bodhisattva Vajrapani, would you mind keeping your Vajra on my table? And Bodhisattva Vajrapani, he kept his Vajra on the table like this. Right? And then the Buddha invited King Ajatasattu. King Ajatasattu, please come. Pick up this Vajra. King Ajatasattu was so happy, right? Because the Bodhisattva Vajrapani may be a little serious, right? Physically also very well built, and then he's so respected by everyone, the Buddha, including Buddha. So he was so happy now. The Buddha is somebody who feels like a mother, right? So he came there, and the Buddha is so kind, right? He read my mind, Buddha read my mind, and so kind for me to check what this, to observe what this, explore what this Vajra is like. And he started picking this up, say like this, say like this. He said this table, then he grabbed at the Vajra and tried to pick it up. He's going to pick it up. He cannot pick it up, right? Then he thought that, okay, I should do it more carefully. He grabbed it and picked it up. He cannot pick it up. Then he started to move like this. He cannot move it. He cannot even move it, right? Then with both hands he did it. He cannot move it. He gave up. Then he invited Indra, king of the gods and goddesses, because he is known for again carrying Vajra. And whenever wars happening, he throw the Vajra and destroy his enemies. Right? He was known for that. So King Ajatasattu invited King Indra, king of the gods and goddesses, to pick it up. And King Indra, this is my job. He went there and he picked up. He cannot pick it up. Again, he was with two hands. He cannot. So he gave up. Then he passed it on to Mughlayana. Who was Mughlayana? The one who was known for his miracle powers, right? So he invited Mughlayana. Mughal went there and Mughal went into Samadhi to display his miracle power. Then he thought it's very easy. Picked up, he could not. Then he again went into Samadhi. He again picked it up, he could not. He was moving like this, he could not. Then he went to the Buddha and Mughlayana started crying. Said that the fully awakened one, Venerable Awakened One, what happened to my miracle power? Now my miracle power already disappeared. Right? Buddha said, no, your miracle power did not disappear. For somebody to lift this Vajra, the miracle that you have is not enough. Right? Then the Buddha invited Vajrapani, Bodhisattva Vajrapani. Bodhisattva Vajrapani picked this up. So Bodhisattva Vajrapani, what did he do? He did not use all the fingers. He used only the first two fingers, thumb and the forefinger. He picked this up, right? Threw this up in the sky and just grabbed it like this and placed it on the table. Then King Ajatasattu, he shrank, right? I thought that I'm the mightiest person on this earth. There's Bodhisattva Vajrapani there, who just played with this Vajra, which we cannot even move, right? And then he did not look at Bodhisattva Vajrapani. He looked at the Buddha, right? With Buddha, he feels like a mother. Vajrapani, he sees him like a big boss or a big brother, right? He cannot dare to even look at Bodhisattva Vajrapani. He looked at Buddha and asked, how come this Vajrapani, he's able to do like this very easily? We cannot even move this. How come? Then the Buddha said that this Vajra is something which nobody can move except for somebody who has practiced Bodhicitta for so many lifetimes. So therefore, and then what is the interest of Ajatasattu? Physical mind. So he's so interested. Anything which will give his physical mind, he wants to get it. So he asked Buddha, so what should I do to have this physical mind? Right? Then the Buddha gives the list of 10 points. List of 10 points, how to practice bodhicitta. Right? How to practice bodhicitta, particularly pertaining to the daily, the actions, daily actions. How you should never disparage other people. How you should never be judgmental towards other people. How you should be kind towards others. How you should be careful of the kind towards the sick people. How you should always assume humility, and how you should emphasize learning and so forth, yet encouraging others to do so, right? So all these compassionate actions, list of 10 was given by Buddha Shakyamuni. So the point is that we see that the practice of bodhicitta, it is a tremendous benefit. Okay, this kind of practice, if you're able to do it, the 9 steps, the 7 steps, if you're able to do it on a daily basis, okay, at times it can become very fresh. You could feel that your compassion actually growing. Sometimes it can become so mechanical, nothing really happens. It's just like repeating the steps and no progress happening. It's just a waste of time. You may feel so, disheartened. Okay. No matter what happens, whether it is a progress, whether it becomes mechanical, just keep doing them. Just keep doing them. This is one thing. Number 2, that in your daily life, just observe. Keep observing who are the kind people. What's the relationship between the mother and the children, particularly young children, how the mother sacrifices, right? This is what I should eventually learn, or I should actually practice, pertaining to all sentient beings, right? Number 2. Number 3, that read the biographies of the great saints, like Lama Tsongkhapa's biography. Nowadays they are all available in English and French, very likely, right? And also the biography of Jesus Milarepa. Okay, biography of the great Saint Naropa, great Saint Tirupa, Jesus Marpa, right? So you read the biographies of these. For example, today the biography of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His biography is the freedom in exile. Right? If you have not read this, I would very much suggest you to read this, Freedom in Exile. It must be available in French. Okay, so reading biographies and keep enriching your studies of the Bodhisattva path and keep practicing this on a daily basis. And in your life, how much you can practice, put them into action to the best you can. Not necessarily that everything has to be translated into action the very next day. No. In whatever capacity that you can do, 2%, 5%, 10%, do it. Right? Okay. 1. So if we, as suggested, if you're able to do this, then say your mind is bound to change. Your mind is bound to change. You're getting it? Your mind is bound to change, and you will see the wonder. And you will become very confident that had it not been the case that I have not practiced these steps, following these steps, by now I would not have reached to this level of the sophistication of compassion. Now I can see this, right? Other people may admit, no, this is not the issue. This is not the matter. But other people, wow, you're a great practitioner of Bodhicitta, but the people admit, no, this is not the matter. You should be growing. The first indication is that you become happier, and happier. This is the first indication. You're getting it? And should you face difficulties, related to the practice, you must be eager to ask people who you are confident that the person is actually practicing this. You're getting it? Who you're confident that that person is actually practicing it. Simply because somebody, you think that, okay, I may not go too much into that, right? Simply because you think that, oh, he's a great teacher, like this, he must be practicing, not guaranteed. Right? This is not my job. My job is just to tell you, if you really get to these problems with your practice, you must ask somebody who you are confident that the person is actually practicing these. That is very important. Because after knowing this, to know how the Bodhicittas practice, I can teach you in just like 1 month. No, say 1 week. Completely, 1 week. Completely. It doesn't mean that, to teach, to know is very easy. Once you know, after 1 week you can teach. It's very easy. But practicing and experiencing, that will take time. So therefore, oftentimes, people who actually practice is so less in number, although there may be many who know how to practice, but who actually practice is very less in number. So what I'm saying is that if you practice it, and you are bound to face difficulties. When you face difficulties, you can ask those people, you can ask anybody. And particularly, you should be able to ask somebody who actually practices. How you know this? How you know that somebody is practicing this is that when the other person, right, say for example, I have a little conflict with, say, the Dhyan, right, I have a little conflict, but behind Dhyan, I didn't say anything bad about Dhyan, right, I don't say anything bad. Behind Dhyan, it's very easy for me to say bad things about Dhyan. Behind, in front is difficult. Now, right, in front you don't say anything, behind you just backbite. This is a indication that the person is not practicing bodhicitta. Somebody who practices bodhicitta, they can be conflicts. It doesn't mean that you will not have conflict with other people. With conflict, behind the person will never backbite the person. Right? And oftentimes, the person will never say, poke your nose. Poke his own nose and, oh, she's wearing like this, he's eating like this, she is not kind, she is this kind, she is not kind. No, never. Always talking nice things about other people. Behind. Front, of course. Behind also. Always talking nice things. Being very positive. Always optimistic. Right? With the challenges, you don't easily get agitated, and particularly not backbiting others, not being judgmental towards others, right? This is a very rare quality you find in people. And particularly, some people, they display these qualities naturally, some, very rare. And then, who actually practice this, you can feel that it's so less. So therefore, because it is so less, if you do it, you become very special. Right? It becomes very special. It is for this reason that there are many ways of generating bodhicitta. One way of which is that seeing that in this degenerated era, although there are so many people who are talking about bodhicitta, but who actually practice bodhicitta is so less, seeing that the number of the people practicing bodhicitta is less, so you take the special responsibility, I must generate bodhicitta, because that this practice is so precious, yet people who are actually practicing this is so less. Right? So this is one way of generating bodhicitta, one force which makes you to generate bodhicitta. Right? Okay. So so this is how how we can practice bodhicitta. Right? Okay, so this is very precious practice, and without this, then anything that you do, whether they say you go to wisdom emptiness, you will go into the Theravada practice. Not, I want to say Theravada, personal liberation practice. Without bodhicitta, then you do the wisdom emptiness, it will become a personal liberation practice, not Mahayana practice. And then without bodhicitta, if you do the Tantra, I don't know what Tantra it becomes. It's not a Hindu Tantra 100%. It's not Buddhist tantra also. Buddhist tantra, the ground must be bodhicitta Vishnu emptiness. So therefore, for everything, the Vishnu emptiness becomes like the main ingredient. Okay. So it is 4:30. Then?
Start again at 5.
Huh?
Start again at 5 with tea break.
Okay. We have tea break till 5, and at 5 we'll come back. Diyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamati Bodhiswaha Diyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Dhyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, 2 prostrations.